Welcome to episode 420 is Plenty. We've got a brand new guest with us, Dan Tweedie. Hello, down below.
Dan, how are you, mate?
Good man. Looking forward to vent my frustration on the Villa.
And also we've got co-host, as always, Joe Paul. Welcome everyone.
Good evening, guys. Good evening.
Tweedy, you are, of course, an Aston Villa fan, so we'll move us on to the topic of will Villa stay up? What do you think?
Short answer, no.
No?
No. I think just I was a little bit hopeful before the restart, but looking at the last five games, 6 games, I don't know where we're gonna get a win from.
Do you think that the team last year was actually better than the team this year, like on paper? So the team that ended last year, do you think it's better than the team on paper at the moment?
You could argue it because of having a 20-man goal scorer up front, or 20 goal scorer up front.
And two, I think Axel would walk into our side at the moment.
Yeah.
Two and Zabi. Who else did we have that's not wasn't there?
I feel like Tom Heaton improved. Tom Heaton improved the team.
Yeah, I think last year's side would give this year's side a good go, if that's what you mean. But I think we had to strengthen in terms of, I think our squad's a bit deeper this year. And believe it or not, I do think it's a bit deeper. But I think we're a bit thin last year in the Championship. But I do think if you had Axel and Tammy into the side now, I think we'd probably stay up by the skin of our teeth again. But I don't think it would have made too much of a difference. I really don't think I would have. But I'm with Tweedy, really. I was optimistic Villa could restart well. It was probably the break that we needed after Leicester drumming. But it's just, I think it's role reversed. I think we couldn't defend before lockdown. And then all of a sudden, we just don't look like scoring after lockdown. But we look okay defensively. I don't know if that's because we look more defensive, but we look so much better defensively. We just don't look like we score against Wolves. Didn't look like we could still be playing now. I still wouldn't back us to score. But
I think we probably look better defensively as a team, but I think it's still the individual errors. All season, there's been so many just individual errors. Not all of them leading to goals, obviously, but like the other day against Wolves, keeper has the ball, goes to throw it out, could have easily been 1-0. And it's just stuff like that all season that you're never going to survive.
Villa have got the most individual errors leading to goals in the Premier League, and I think that just
doesn't surprise me, doesn't it?
Yeah,
just sums it up. I think it just sums it up.
How much do you think? Is sort of like the onus of playing badly is on the manager compared to the players? Like, how much responsibility has he got to take, or is it just down to the players not performing?
Quite a bit for me. I feel like another manager would potentially get more out of the team. Maybe not a realistic scenario, but imagine if we had someone, let's say, Rafa Benitez, the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Do you think we'd be in the bottom three with that team?
Was there any point throughout this season where you thought getting rid of him was the right thing to do? No, would have kept him.
Not now.
Had you kept him the whole time through? Or
I think.
If you go back to Christmas and see yourself now, would you get rid of him? If you like, in hindsight, would you have got rid of him at Christmas?
It's a big question.
To you as well. In hindsight now, do you think getting rid of him at Christmas would have been better, not just for this season, was an overall positive for the club? Do you think that would have been the best thing to do?
Probably not. I think the merry-go-round, I think Villa have been stuck in the merry-go-round in terms of no long stables. We haven't had much stability the last 5 years, but I think what Dean Smith did provide us in the Championship was a bit of a philosophy. I know he was all on Jack Grealish's return in terms of our 10-game win streak, but I think it cuts a bit deep. I think my heart's sort of with Dean Smith. He's a Villa fan. He's one of us. Everyone wants to see him try and do well, but I think his tactics has been very, very odd. I think numerous times this year, everyone's just looked at his substitutions and his tactics and gone, where's his thinking? So I would still stick with him if we go down.
I'd say one thing which, obviously me and Tweedy go down a game together most of the time. I don't know if you'd agree, Tweed, but since Smith's come in, the atmosphere is definitely, not just the atmosphere, I mean like how loud the singing is, but just around the ground in the pub before, it just seems a little bit more positive than it did.
Yeah, I think
you were saying about the merry-go-round, Seeley, where that sort of felt like it broke a little bit with him.
Here we go again.
Which I don't know. That's just a positive thing I thought that Dean Smith did bring. Like, sort of actually felt like we had a proper club and a proper positive club atmosphere again, which is not.
Yeah, which unfortunately I think
it's clear to say that Villa. I mean, there are some delusional fans out there. At the beginning of the season, some were saying, "No, we're going to finish mid-table." But I've always said, Villa have got to work towards a 3-5-year plan of just stay in that division, because it can just swallow you up. And if you get too far ahead of yourself, like we said, although we did spend 100 mil plus, you can still find yourself in a situation, as we see, survival for the next 3 years for Villa is massive as a football club, because it's going to take ages to get back to where we were 10, 12 years ago in Europe. So, but at the minute, I don't think it's good enough. I think we started so slow at the break. I could probably only pick out one player that's played well. Maybe two players that have played well since lockdown. I think that's Louise and maybe Keane Davis. I think Keane Davis has shocked a few people, but he still has been putting the ball in the net, which is obviously been a problem.
Big responsibility for him, isn't it? Coming back.
Yeah, 2 goals in 4 games.
All right, final question before we move on. Tweedy, if we stay up, would you keep Dean Smith?
No.
Seeley?
No. So if Villa go down, sack Dean Smith. We twist that.
Villa go down. If we go down, keep him. If we stay up, get rid. For me.
Oh, that's an interesting. I think both for me, keep. Yeah.
Fair play. Right, moving on. Obviously, Liverpool have just won the league this week. Good scenes up there in Scouserland. Finally got something to shout about. Do you think they can maintain it next year, Tweeds? And who do you think will win the Premier League next year? I know it's hard.
Okay, so for me, I think it comes down to the European ban for City. If City are banned from Europe, it's very, very rare, or probably unheard of, that a team has ever tried to go for the Premier League title, have a really good chance at the Premier League title, and not have to compete in Europe. I feel like missing all of the European games for City would leapfrog them over Liverpool.
So you think that players will stay at City with the Champions League ban?
That's the only thing. I personally think they'll keep the bulk of the squad.
And you think Pep Guardiola will stay?
Yeah, I think Pep will do another year. I don't personally think they will get a European ban. I think it will go down to the wire not like it does this season, but it'll be a 2-horse race again. Probably see City coming out on top next year. I can't see Guardiola losing it 2 years in a row.
And is that due to like Liverpool going to not be as good next year, or City you think will just come back?
I think City will get stronger. I think realistically they won't get a European ban. So I think they'll strengthen. I think they'll win the league. If they do get the European ban, I still think they'll have a squad strong enough to compete with Liverpool and kind of overtake Liverpool, because they're playing a lot less games.
Fair, that's a good point. CD? See the league next year?
I think it'll be 3-horse race. I'm going to say it now. I think Chelsea are definitely going to join them. I've been really impressed with Chelsea, actually. I haven't really watched much of it with Frank Lampard, I must admit. But I think since the lockdown, obviously they play against Villa, and I watched them against Leicester. They're playing really good football. And I think with the players coming in, as we previously said on previous shows, it's that I think they're going to join them. Whether they have that deep in a squad to compete with City and Liverpool, I don't think so. But I think Liverpool and City will get battered out, maybe Chelsea third. But I think that's a good point, Tweets, actually, about the European ban. I can't see City losing any players.
Works two ways, doesn't it, really? Like you said, you can have a break and keep your players. I think since it's gone down to one, it's a massive difference from 2 years, because players are just thinking, like you said, all right, no games in Europe. Let's win the League Cup, let's win the FA Cup, win the Prem, and then bounce straight into. I mean, they win the Champions League next year. It's kind of forgotten.
Yeah, but if we move on to Liverpool, I don't think we can discredit Liverpool. I think they've head and shoulders being the best side in the league. They're going to strengthen as well. The rumours about Thiago going from Bayern to Liverpool, does that make them the complete package? Probably, I think. I think centre mid is definitely an area where if Thiago comes into that side, it's going to be one hell of a season next year. I really do think.
Really?
I think it could be similar to the one last season, where Liverpool finished on 98 points or something. Was it in Man City 100 and something? But I think it's going to be close. I think it's much closer this year. I hope it is.
Tweeds, how long till we're putting Man United in this title race conversation? How many years we've got to wait? Do you feel like it's coming soon? I feel like it's the closest.
I feel like they're in the back. They're back in the contention for fourth next year. I think they'll be them and Chelsea will be the closest for third and fourth. I think depends who they can get in over the summer. Have they got? Well, we know they've got money there. Have they still got the attraction? Do people still want to come and play for United if they could go to Liverpool or City? Fourth for United next year. I just can't see anyone challenging Liverpool or City at the moment.
So final question before we move on, Tweed. Who will win the Premier League 2020 to 2021? In a word.
City.
Seeley, in a word.
Liverpool.
Okay.
Hurts me to say.
So our 5 games we're going to talk about this week. We've got there's a massive game actually in there, but first one is pretty interesting one as well. Everton versus Leicester. What do you make of Leicester's season, Tweeds?
Overall, good season. I think since they've come back, look pretty solid at the back. Haven't really been as free scoring as they can be. Pretty similar to Everton, really, since come back. You know, don't a lot conceding many, don't really a lot scoring too many either. I've got it down here that Leicester beat Everton in the first fixture this season. I think they played each other in the cup as well. I'm pretty sure Leicester won both times. I think, but yeah, I think Leicester you got to give them a lot of credit for being in and around that kind of third, fourth, fifth.
Definitely.
Because if you look at the amount of money that gets spent to get into first and second in the Premier League, and you know they've got some good players in there, but there's no world beaters in there. There's no De Bruyne's or Aguero's or Salah's or anything like that. So the team that they've got and the philosophy that Rodgers has brought in, I think is pretty good.
Me personally, I genuinely think Rodgers could be up there for manager of the season for me, for being third in Champions League. If you said Leicester would break into the top 4 at the start of the season, you wouldn't have thought it. I think they look. If they were 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th, they wouldn't look out of place there. And to be third all season, pretty much, is a joke in my eyes. Yeah. How good that season is.
Well, what do we say? What do we say if we compare it to what we said on previous shows about Sheffield United's season so far? Difference I think between Sheffield United and Leicester is a goal scorer.
Yeah, Jamie Vardy.
Jamie Vardy is the second top scorer in the league now, behind Danny Ings. So I think that's a difference. And I think if you compare Sheffield United and Leicester seasons, it's not too dissimilar, other than Leicester have had that goal scored to get them a few extra points. And I said, I think 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th, they wouldn't look out of place. I know they won the Premier League a couple of years ago, but especially after losing Harry Maguire as well and bringing Sanucci, there's not really got much.
And Johnny Evans in as well, yeah. But more relevant to right here, right now, is that if they lose this week, Man United will be 3 points. They could easily lose to Everton, and then Man United are 4 points behind, and then suddenly they're out of the Champions League spots.
It's a big game for them. It's a
big game for them. Like, they're not by no means cemented in that Champions League spot, and they could end the season 6th, 7th, 8th if they don't start. They played Brighton and Watford and drew both of them. They're 2 games they should be going out to third place. Tweeds, how long before we think Everton are going to start competing back? I mean, under David Moyes, they're probably the favourites to break that famous top four, and now they're sort of dropped off a few places. How long until do you think Ancelotti's got something in his locker to sort of bring them back to that?
I think from when Moyes was in charge, I think you just spoke about that top four. I think the top four's kind of changed now, and it's kind of a six. And there's probably 6 teams now who are all kind of, there's 2 competing for the title and four others. I can't see them getting into that. I think they've got the right man with Ancelotti, to be fair. I do still think there are a couple of players short of kind of pushing that top 6. I think any 7th or 8th, I think any Everton fan would take next year, to be honest. But they're going in the right direction. I think Calvert-Lewin has kind of improved quite a lot over this season.
How big do you think he can be, Calvert-Lewin? How far do you think he can go? Premier League 100 club? Would he score 100 goals in the Prem?
No.
I don't think so. No, but I think he's a good player, but probably he'd be put well. Like I said, I think he would have probably made my England squad, but with Danny Ings, he might be a bit controversial now. That was always interesting spin, would it be Ings or Calvert-Lewin? But no, I don't. It could be a 1 or 2 season wonder for me. I really do.
Well, let's move on. Tweedie, what's your prediction for this?
I've gone for a 1-0 Leicester. I think they've got a little bit more quality and then might just squeeze past Everton. 1-0 Leicester.
1-0 Leicester. Seals?
The struggle goes on for Leicester. 1-1 I've gone.
Struggles even more in my eyes. 2 on Everton for me.
Everton, 3 varied results.
Good game next. Very good game. And for me, the banker of the weekend is West Ham Chelsea. I think this is the banker for the weekend for Chelsea to win this.
Bit of a derby, isn't it? Bit of a derby, West Ham, Chelsea. West Ham in absolute honking form. They are in serious danger. Got good players in serious danger. We touched upon it before. But like you said, I think it is a banker. That Chelsea's improved as David Moyes' West Ham looked like they've just deteriorated massively over the season. So, yeah. What do you think, Tweedie, about West Ham's season so far?
They can't defend. It's pretty simple. It's like you just said they haven't got a bad squad. But if you can't defend, you're never really going to get anywhere. I think since coming back, they've lost both games 2-0. Was it Wolves and Spurs? Lost both 2-0. Haven't scored a goal.
2 hard games to come back to, or 3 hard games to come back to, if you think about it. Fucking tough.
They're tough games, but
you've got to look a little bit like you're in the game. Yeah, I mean,
they don't look like doing anything. And if you look through the squad, it's not bad. To be fair, they've got players in there that most would get into the starting 11 of most of the Premier League clubs. They haven't got a bad squad at all.
Yeah, definitely. Look at the likes of Felipe Anderson, Haller, Mark Noble, Declan Rice. I mean,
Creswell, you could potentially throw in the mix. I think the atmosphere around the club's just not there, is it? And
toxic.
Yeah, but I thought it's a weird one getting David Moyes back. Weird. It just feels like you're going backwards.
Yes, backwards. It's a big club, West Ham, as well. Situated in London, nice stadium. But
they can't afford to go down.
Done it there before. It baffled me a bit. It did. Like Pellegrini, I thought was a step forward. I thought his experience as a manager, but then since he's gone, it's
in the Premier League.
Step back. Yeah. So, but what do you think? Do you think West Ham will drop, Tweedie?
No, I think they'll just have enough to stay. I genuinely, I think Paulie's just said it then. They'd be in so much trouble if they went down.
They'd be in trouble, mate. If you were the owner and you just bought that stadium, you'd be fucking livid with whoever sent you down. You're like, mate, what? He must have bought that stadium thinking like they're going to be finishing top 6 for the next 5-6 season.
Yeah, they've got a lease on it, mate.
Imagine Luton going to fucking Olympic Park playing for fucking just in a championship. It's just ridiculous.
That's a good point. So if West Ham aren't going down, Villa are going down, assuming Norwich and your other one, who's the other one that you going down? Bournemouth on the drop. Wow, that'd be a disaster for Eddie Hearn. I feel sorry for him actually if they do go down.
Eddie Hearn.
Yeah. Anyhow. I said anyhow. Two fresh geezers.
Seeley, prediction for this one?
I've gone the exact same scoreline as what their other two results been. West Ham 0, Chelsea 2.
Daniel?
I have gone for West Ham 0, Chelsea 3.
Oh, Druid.
2-1 Chelsea, my eyes. As I said, I think it's the banker of the weekend. The banker.
Chelsea have already played 3 top teams in the Premier League since the restart. They played City, Leicester and Villa. So,
3 massive clubs. All right. Pretty much the blockbuster of the weekend. Manchester City versus Liverpool. I've just little stat we can start off with that after the defeat at Chelsea, this is the most defeats a Pep Guardiola team has ever had in a season in his 12 years of management. 7 defeats. Will it be 8? Dan, what do you reckon? Will it be 8?
Yeah, I think so. I think all the City players now are just looking, for me, I think after that Chelsea loss, they're just looking to next season. They're just going to be focused on next season. I reckon they'll probably show Liverpool a little bit too much respect. I can't see Liverpool walking all over them. So my prediction's quite a tight one, but I just think Liverpool will have too much. I think City will go a little bit too easy on them. League's done; they've got nothing else to play for. Hopefully, Liverpool get it out of the system before the players next week.
For me, as like comparing the two sides, Seeley, like City was changed their team a lot compared to Liverpool. Like there's a lot of things, and I'm not sure that like it is the best way to manage a football club. I quite like the idea of like if them 11 players are available and fully fit, they're the players that play.
They've got such a good squad though.
You just lose a bit though.
I don't mind the rotation. I think Aguero, you probably wouldn't like it if you're a striker. Him coming to rotate, can't get in form. But I think he has got a really good squad available to him. So I don't see the harm in rotating. I do understand what you're saying about a bit of momentum, playing your best side. But the amount of games, like Pep's ambition is to win everything, win absolutely every single trophy that is up for available. So in the semi-final of an FA Cup, they won the League Cup, second in the Premier League, and got a Champions League up for grabs. The only way you're going to do all 4 is just by rotate. And I think I'm going to spin on what Tweedie said actually. I think Pep is going to be hurt. Pep is going to come out of a point to prove. I think he's going to make sure his City players are fired up for it. I think it's going to be an absolute cracker. I think it's going to be a bit hostile. Lots of challenges flying around because I think Pep's ego is hurt. Pep's ego is hurt big time by Klopp.
Yeah. Klopp's laughing at him.
I sense a bit of a Wenger versus Ferguson-esque rivalry coming on. These two, City, I reckon, are going to come out all guns blazing.
On the back of that, CD, your score prediction?
I'm going to go for a 1-1, but I think it's going to be one hell of a watch. One hell of a watch.
Mr. Tweedie?
I have gone with a 2-1 Liverpool.
And I'll join you on that, mate. I've gone for a 2-1 Liverpool as well. And I'd love them to beat. Sorry, something's just come up saying the meeting's going on. I'd love them to beat City. I don't like them. I think they bought the league. Not nice. Next one, we have Sheffield United versus Tottenham. It's a bit of a dry game, I reckon. I think it's a dry game. Tottenham's they're not the same watching them. When you went in the potch, it was just like I lose the love watching them now. Like so narrow. I don't know, just
However, they have turned it around a bit, haven't they? They got I thought a good draw against United, and then they got a solid win at home in a local derby against West Ham. Well, not a local derby, but a London derby against West Ham. So I think Mourinho has slightly turned the corner. Kane's back available. Son's fit. I think, as compared to Sheffield United, who have taken a complete backward step, in my opinion, they got drumming away at Newcastle. I thought a tad lucky. Didn't look very good away at Villa, and I don't think the break's come at a good time for them. So Tweedie, what do you think of Sheffield United then? What do you think of their season?
Pretty much exactly what you said. You wouldn't have expected it. They would have definitely taken where they are now if you offered it last season or start of the season. The break has just taken everything out of them. No momentum. I did actually see someone say that the break could be best for Sheffield United purely because they play with pretty much the same 11 or play with 13, 14 players. It's going to be a good rest for them, but I think it's just completely taken it out of all of them. They'll be happy with what they've done. They're safe. They've got another year in the league. I can't see them getting anywhere near this next year.
I was going to say, how long do you reckon they stay in the Premier League for?
I think they stay. I think they stay for a good few years. But I don't see them. I see them in a relegation battle next year. But we said this at the start of this season, so who knows?
And if Tottenham don't finish top 4 and you're Harry Kane, Tweedie, are you packing your bags? Are you off?
Yeah. I think you probably are anyway. They've got to the Champions League final.
Regardless. So you think that's it? He's gone. He's gone in the summer.
Yeah, they're not going to challenge. They're not going to challenge for the league. I can't see him going to like a Liverpool or City. In the Premier League, I can only really see him going to United. To be honest,
I'd love to see him at Real Madrid. I don't know why. I just love him.
Say, do you go
unreal, mate, or Barca? See him there. Be unreal, just having big hands.
I do want to break Shearer's record, though. I love Kane, and he has been a bit let down by the club. He has been really let down by the club. Similar to Greenish and Villa, I think he has been let down. I think Daniel Levy is the tightest owner I've ever known, and I think he's let Kane go. If someone coming for Kane, would Daniel Levy take it? Of course he would.
I think when they'll only appreciate how much he's done when he leaves, and they realise that he really struggled. Anyway, Tweedie, prediction for that?
2-0 Spurs.
Mr. George.
Yeah, Spurs' good run goes on. 1-0 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs. That's what I mean. 2-1 Spurs. So that's 3 Spurs wins. Sheffield United will come out as well. Last one. The upset. The Arsenal Norwich.
Comedy versus comedy.
Not yet. Norwich won this. It would be chaos just to see Arsenal. Just to see it would be chaos, mate. How much effect, Tweeds, do you reckon Arsenal to Fan TV has on Arsenal, since it started, do you think it has actually gone hand in hand with their downfall? Is it a big part?
Yeah, I think it's gone hand in hand, but I don't think it's the way of Arsenal Fan TV affecting the football club. I think the football club is still its own thing. I don't think you should really read too much into the fact that you got to think Arsenal Fan TV is more reactive. It doesn't actually change anything within the club. It is reactive. It is negative a lot of the time. But they've got players like Ozil sitting on the bench who either they're just going to pay him, is it 400 grand a week and not play him, or he doesn't want to play, whatever way it is. You've got players like David Luiz who aren't even switched on when they're defending. That you can't put everything like that down to Arsenal Fan TV. I don't think it's great for the club. I wouldn't like if it was my club, but Arsenal are just they're nothing anymore, really.
Do you think they'll win a Premier League title in the next 20 years?
Looking at it now, you'd have to say no. But if you asked me 5 years ago, do you think Leicester would win a Premier League title? I know it's slightly different because it's Arsenal, but looking at it now, you'd say no, wouldn't you? To be fair.
And CD, how do you reckon Arteta's got there realistically? Do you reckon he'll still be the manager in 5 years?
No. I think I think Arsenal Fan TV, since they've come in, is actually, I don't know if it's a coincidence, but it's been downfall of Arsenal. I think Wenger neglected them a bit, but it's a bit of a negative atmosphere. I would like it at my club. For sure, I think I'm strong at my club. So, but it's just a state at the minute. David Luiz signed the new contract, by the way, as well. God,
what timing to do it?
I don't believe it. it's a circus. It's
It's
absolutely
going to be a
circus.
circus.
They are the last top of the league, and that's at the minute. That is only my, and I never thought that. They are a circus. Like I said, the quicker the season is done for, the better. They're in a semi-final, however.
Well, it could change their season winning the FA Cup.
Of their cup, FA Cup. They love an FA Cup.
They love
Tweedie,
FA Cup.
Is there an upset on the cards here? Prediction, or is it going to be?
There can't be two. I've gone 2-0 Arsenal. I just can't see there being an upset. Surely not. Surely not.
See you later.
2-0 Arsenal, and if it isn't, and if Norwich win, I think there's going to be protests outside the ground, possibly.
I'll raise you by 1 and go 3-0 Arsenal.
3-0.
I'm going to stick mine and CD's Ackers on screen now. 2 little 5-folds. You haven't had a winner yet, but one's coming in before the end of the season. You just know it, Seals. You just know it.
I just know it. You just know
Tweedie,
I know.
do you want to talk us through your last 5 results? We've had to chuck 3 championship games in there this week. Just quickly, just read out what you predicted for the last 5, if you would. I'll put them on screen.
I've gone Bournemouth versus Newcastle. I've gone 3-1 Newcastle. Brighton versus United. I've gone 2-0 United. Blues Huddersfield. It pains me to say, but I've gone 2-1 Blues. Leeds Luton. I've gone 4-0 Leeds. Sheffield Wednesday West Brom. I've gone 1-1.
Cool. I'll put the results on, and then I'll put mine and CD's 10 folds on, which is also with the results of the other 5. Last week, our guest, Mr. Lewis White, said he will beat John Palmer in everything he does in life. He was correct. The table is on now. He beats him by 1 point. The difference being a correct scoreline from Mr. Lewis White, 1-0. What one did he get right? Was it? I've got it on here. 1 sec. I think it was 1-0.
Burnley Watford, I think it was.
Burnley Watford. He put 1-0 Burnley, which built him up. So, Lewis, you stayed true to your word. You have beat John Palmer in another thing in your life. Be proud. So, Tweedie, you going to top that? 9 points? That's not hard to get, is it?
A few bankers in there, I think. So.
Yeah. So, thank you for watching, guys, as well. Thanks, Dan, for coming on.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers for having me.
It's been interesting. It's been a good one. But over and out, really, dudes. Over and out.
See you later.